All right. What's going on, everybody? I know it's been a while since I've last done one of these, but after pretty much I would say how long have I been off this for about what 2 months now? Yeah, I decided to take a break a little bit, but now I'm officially back. So hey, everybody. For those of you who are just chiming in, my name is Deontay, and I am the host of the Big Blue Rain of Fire, sponsored by the Sports Affiliation. So please be sure to give each and every one of my people there a follow, and we could greatly appreciate all the attention that we could get. And what I'm about to show you all the different times and all the different shows that we have for the upcoming week. So please be sure to tune in to each and every one of my people's shows. They're really great shows. I guarantee you that, right? So after months of speculation, here we are in the great day of February 5th in the new year of 2024. I think it's about time that we had that talk, Giants fans, right? So obviously, this was a very disappointing campaign, right? We went 6 of 11. Our starting quarterback goes down in the Raiders game. I believe it was week. I think it was what was it? Week 8, week 9, in which he went down against the Raiders. I could be wrong, but yeah, we were just going through different quarterbacks from Tommy DeVito to Tyrod Taylor. It was just an all out mess, right? There was there was nothing really much. I mean, I would say the positives on offense would have to be Saquon. I mean, yes, he was short of 1,000 yards, but he was pretty much one of those cogs that kept our offense going, if not for a brief fleeting moment. Wandale Robinson really has stepped up in the last couple of games for us recently, and now that the season is over, I mean, I could definitely look to him in terms of development, especially along that wide receiver core, right? Jalen Hyatt didn't really pan out the way that we wanted to. I mean, I believe he only had about one 100-yard game, and it's not necessarily his fault. He didn't really have a lot of targets going into the season and then ending the season. So it was really I was kind of disappointed, but I have a feeling that he'll bounce back. Right, whoever is under center for us in the next season. Right, going on to the defense. I mean, I just have to call a spade a spade. That defense was didn't really live up to the expectations. There were times, yes, when the defense kept us in games, and the offense just couldn't generate enough points to overtake their opponents. But the spade's the spade that our defense just played flat out terrible. Whether if it's the missed tackling or the missed assignments, and just completely getting dog walked all over by other opponents and stuff. So who knows? It was just flat out terrible. Well, at least I can say that Kayvon Thibodeau really showed up and showed out for us this season. He had, I believe it was 11 and a half sacks, and he had about 43 pressures. Now, some people will say that, he didn't really improve, but the number of sacks increased and the number of pressures that have been increased. I could say that that's definitely improvement. Like, if you're not willing to call Kayvon's Thibodeau's improvement and just call it at that, then I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know. Dexter Lawrence, I mean, look, I don't even have to get into Dexter Lawrence. I mean, clearly he's one of the best defensive tackles, well, excuse me, interior tackles in the league. So I'll leave him be for now. Like, I'm not worried about him, right? It is what it is. He's a damn good player, right? Which is why we drafted him the way we drafted him 2019 with the number 17 overall pick. I mean, the dude's a the dude's a beast. There's simply no way of putting it. Oh, hey Daniel, what's up? Oh, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you, man. I would love to have you on here someday. And then we drafted Deontay Banks last year. he did show some flashes of him becoming that number one corner, but he could still use some improvement. Well, pretty much all throughout the defense could use improvement. Bobby Okereke, I mean, the dude's a tackling machine. Man, we got him in free agency. We signed him to a 3-year deal, and he's basically pretty much living up to the expectations of what it meant to be, or excuse me, to play middle linebacker for us, right? He is the clear personification of what it means to be a good middle linebacker. And we haven't had one of those since pretty much Antonio Pierce was playing on the Giants. And that was back in, that was almost what, 10, 11 years ago, 2013 to be exact. Speaking of Antonio Pierce, he is now the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So shout out to him, former Giant and everything. So I hope everything I hope everything goes out well for him. I mean, if you see Antonio Pierce, if you see the way he coaches that team, it's like they have an identity. It's like they have a purpose there. Like the players just want to rally around the guy, and that's the type of culture that you're supposed to have. And I can't be mad at him. I'm just happy for him. So shout out to Antonio Pierce again for now becoming the official head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So shout out to him. Guys, I didn't even know that the problems would show up until the playoffs started, right? Now, of course, we were just sitting at home for the playoffs because we didn't qualify for the playoffs, but never in my life, never have I seen such madness happen in which, we have, you know, coordinators being fired left and right and head coaches just being moved. Like it was just a crazy sight to see, right? Especially with what happened with the Wink Martindale drama, right? As you all know, that there's been, well, Wink Martindale is no longer the defensive coordinator, and as I say this right now, we hired this new defensive coordinator in Shane Bowen from Tennessee. He was recently for Tennessee. I'll get to Bowen in a little bit, but I just want to address the Wink Martindale situation, right? I Clearly there was just some dissension between him and Brian Daboll over how they wanted to coach things, right? A little bit of just conflict, and unfortunately, it led to Wink Martindale unfortunately resigning from the Giants, right? Stuff like this happens, and now it's painting Brian Daboll, in a bad light, right? And recently, I believe one of our tied no, our run game specialist, right? He's now going to the Chargers to work with Jim Harbaugh, right? And now I'm seeing various tweets about all these coordinators for us and all these specialists for us. They're just trying to quote unquote abandon the sinking ship that is the Giants organization, right? See, this is why I don't want to talk about this. This is why it's just it just pains me as a Giants fan to just sit back here and just watch all this madness unfold, right? I don't know. I don't know what to think. Like I've never seen anything like this, right? In the Jesus, how long have I been watching Giants football? I've been watching Giants football for like the past 10 plus years or so. I'm a younger generation Giants fan, as you can see, right? I don't think I've witnessed anything like of this caliber. Not even since Tom Coughlin was just like let out the door, and there was a squabble between him and John Morrow, right? Which is why Ben McAdoo came in after him, right? I don't know what to do. Like I don't know how to process this information. Like, yeah, we did get our special teams guy, I think, and then now we got our defensive coordinator, and we still have Mike Kafka as offensive coordinator, and Brian Dable. He's not going anywhere. This is his third season as head coach for the Giants, right? So it's just a whole plethora of just craziness going on. I don't know. There's not really much I can there's not much I can say, right? There's not much I can say. And, I just want to move forward with everything that's happening, right? I just want to move forward with everything that's happening, right? So, and Wink Martindale still hasn't been hired yet by anybody, so there's that. That solves that. There's that answer for you right there, right? And then I wanted to get into our new our new defensive coordinator, right? Shane Bowen, right? He recently was the defensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, right? In 2021, right? He was pretty much top 10 in every single category that you can think of, from EPA per play to the success rate to the yards per play, explosive percent, et cetera, right? So, from what I've been told, he basically has had pretty much a solid run defense for like the past 3 years or so, with the exception of the 2023 season, right? I mean, he was pretty much middle of the pack and everything. I'm just reading you guys the numbers as I go along, right? I'm not sure if you can see. Can you see this? Oh yeah, you can see this. Okay, so clear. So as it says, he was 15th in points per game, 17th in yards per game, rushing yards per game, pretty much the same, middle of the pack, 14th, and then passing yards per game, 18th percent. Right. Well, 18th. Right. I mean, as long as it's like a step above Wink, I'm not really worried. I mean, clearly this guy has had, a pretty solid defense, right? And one of the things that the Giants could really use help on is our run game. I'm not gonna lie, our run game hasn't been great over the last couple of years, right? 2022 showed it, and then this year in 2023, that's when it really showed, right? So we can use somebody like a Shane Bowen to really help clean up in that department, right? And then for the pass defense, I mean, yeah, it could still use a bit of solving, right? I think I'm trying to think what were the Giants in terms of passing. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. Oh wait, I should know this at the top of my head. Yeah. So I think we're just like almost at like the bottom five when it came to passing defense, but I could take a look. But either way, our defense really needed a guy that can really, or excuse me, a guy that can really step up in terms of defensive quality, right? I don't know why people are just, saying that he's a bad defensive coordinator. No, he's not. He just needs he just needs talent, right? And with the emergence of Kayvon Thibodeau and you know the our guy in Deontay Banks, and then you have Dexter Lawrence coming up the middle, right? I don't see any, and hopefully we bring Xavier McKinney back, right? I really don't see how Shane Bowen is really gonna. I don't think he. I don't think he's gonna fail here with us. I mean, let's give the guy a chance. I mean, do we have talent on defensive side of the ball? Yes, we do. We just have to look, but unfortunately, it doesn't get mentioned because of the whole national media and how everybody wants to look at the Giants as this laughing stock of an organization. And now with all these different tweets that are coming out on a daily basis about what the Giants are, what they are as an organization, it really kind of takes away from basically pretty much what we have, right? So me personally, I think it's one of those things where it's just like an underrated signing, right? It's an underrated signing. So I'm really looking forward to see how Shane Bowen really does work for us. And from what I've been told, he also runs a 3-4. So yeah, we're gonna see how our edge rushers, primarily Kayvon Thibodeau, work under his system. So there's that, right? And then it's the draft, right? Well, first it's free agency and then the draft, right? I think as of right now, the Giants have less than, what is it, 40 million in cap space. So I'll take a look at the exact number as to how much we truly do have in cap space, right? But we just need to do something, right? We have definitely need to do something in order to upgrade our roster, right? Because as of right now, we have, well, this is, oh, and I just pulled this up from, this is by overthecap.com, in which we're projected to have at least 35.8 million in cap space this year, right? So with that being said, who would be our top cut candidates, right? One person I could look to is Adoree Jackson, but then you need to understand. But then we will have to understand that Adoree Jackson was also in Tennessee when we acquired him, right? So there's still some connections with him and Shane Bowen. So who knows? Maybe they could look to extend him for another season. Maybe they could look to restructure. Well, considering that this is his fourth year, I don't think they're going to restructure anything. But in terms of just him with that connection in Tennessee, I don't know. So that also plays an integral part, right? And then let's see all the other free agents. I think Isaiah Simmons is also a free agent. So could we keep him? Could we stay? Could he stay with us? We don't know. So there's a lot of different intangibles for us, especially on the defensive side of things, right? And Xavier McKinney, like I mentioned before, when I said that we had talent, are we gonna break the bank for Xavier McKinney too, like we did with Andrew Thomas last year? Who knows, right? Me personally, I would pretty much have him here. I would pretty much have him here because he still is a good player, and he's a young player too. But we don't know if Xavier McKinney is gonna command that same market in when it comes to his other safety counterparts, like a let's say like a Jamal Adams or a Derwin James or any of those guys, right? Or any of those other guys, right? So we clearly have a lot of questions, especially on the defensive side of things, that need to be answered, right? It's only it's only a matter of time before this defense is really that wrecking unit in which we also hope, right? And then going back to the offense, what do we do on offense? As you all know, we've gotten rid of our O-line coach and Bobby Johnson, who I've wanted gone for quite a while now, right? He's gone. He's out the window. And then we just recently hired somebody from the Las Vegas Raiders, right? And I saw his techniques and how he works with that Raiders O line. I think he's gonna pay dividends for us in the long run. And hopefully, this is Evan Neal's third year. His rookie year wasn't that great, and his second year last year, it just wasn't sitting well with us, especially with us Giants fans. So hopefully Evan Neal can really develop and pan out under this guy, right? That's what and that's what I'm just kind of hoping for, right? And then you still have John Michael Schmitz, who we drafted last year, and then Andrew Thomas, who pretty much is an All-Pro left tackle, right? So I'm not worried about Andrew Thomas. The only thing that I'm worried about with this O line is injuries, because we as a team as a whole, we've been plagued with injuries all throughout last year, right? With with Daniel Jones being out for the year with the ACL injury, Saquon Barkley missing a few games, Tyrod Taylor, ultimately getting injured, injuries after injuries after injuries, and we can only hope that these guys can stay healthy enough so that we can really pass the ball for more. Well, excuse me, hold on to the ball for more than 2 seconds without getting sacked on every single play. This Giants O line was pretty much one of the worst O lines we had in a while. We've allowed, I believe it was 86 sacks of the entire season, it doesn't bode well. And that was with three of our guys under center, and we can't have that, right? So hopefully, this O line coach from the Las Vegas Raiders knows what he's doing, and I just hope that our offensive line can be fixed because this has been an ongoing issue for the Giants for the past 10 plus years, or I would say since we last been to the Super Bowl. Like it just feels like nothing has changed. Like yeah, sure we've had you know Andrew Thomas, but Andrew Thomas is pretty much an anomaly, right? And then John Michael Schmitz, even though people want to rag on him for having a tough season, like he's still a rookie. He's still a rookie. Like I don't know what I don't know what else you want me to I don't know what else you want me to say. Let's it's just like it's like we keep going in a different direction and than what we're expected to. I understand that it was a tougher schedule. I understand that we had tougher opponents, right? If you really think about it from this perspective, right? If we had won that Bills game, right? If we had won that Jets game, right? We could have had you're probably looking at 8 wins for the season. I'm not saying that that's like a huge accomplishment being 8-9, but it's better than being 6-11. I don't know what I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, it's just pretty much all over the place at this point. But going back to the offensive line, I just hope that it's fixed. We keep saying this for we've kept saying this for the past 10 plus years or so. I just hope it gets fixed. I really hope it gets fixed, right? And then, oh god, who should I talk about next? Should I talk about Daniel Jones or should I talk about Saquon Barkley? You know what? I'm just gonna get the elephant out of the room, and I will now shift my focus to Daniel Jones, right? So this is our starting quarterback, right? And how many games? In 5 or 6 games, this dude literally put up 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, right? In 5 starts. It really doesn't bode well for us. Jesus Christ. Look, I'm not pinning it entirely on Daniel Jones. I'm not, right? His own line didn't really give him the best amount of protection. Some receivers, some offensive weapons, they weren't really readily available, like Darren Waller, which equates back to injuries, right? And how much they played this team, especially on offense, right? I don't know. It's just I want to root for Daniel Jones so bad, but it's just from what I'm hearing from other Giants fans, it's just like he's just not that guy. I don't know. I don't know. The fact that, and I was in the Giant space earlier today and we were just talking about Daniel Jones. Hi Bella, how you doing? Thank you so much for tuning in. Um but yeah, I was in the Giant space earlier today, and we were just talking about Daniel Jones, right? Like it's not a knock on Daniel Jones, but we feel like he's pretty much reached his ceiling, right? Like, don't get me wrong, like of course he's an athlete, right? Of course he can be a runner, but some part of me is saying, I just wanted Daniel Jones to take that leap, but it never happened. It never happened, right? In that Seattle game where he was sacked 11 times, almost 12 times, it was just like, what are we doing? What exactly are we doing, right? He just like he doesn't even go to his second read. Like he's just one read, and if he doesn't like what he sees, he takes off, right? But I don't understand why this year we kind of diverted away from play action because that's clearly Daniel Jones' strength. Because if you take a look at last year compared to this year, right? 2022, we ran a lot of play action, right? and clearly Daniel Jones was successful in that. Now, 15 touchdowns, okay, he's it's nothing to it's nothing to breeze over. 15 touchdowns is 15 touchdowns. What are you gonna do, right? But he was hella effective on the ground because he had about 700 yards and he had about seven total touchdowns. I don't understand why we diverted away from that and making the offense into this pass-centric offense, right? Relying more on Daniel Jones as more of a pass, like more of a what is it? What is that term? More of a pocket passer than anything. When clearly he's not. He's not a pocket passer. Is he a dual threat quarterback? Absolutely. More times than not, if you take a look at some of the best examples of dual threat quarterbacks that we have, a player, players that come to mind are Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, right? And shoot, I'll even put Justin Fields up there too, even though I don't know what's going on with his situation in Chicago, what Chicago's doing with the number one overall pick. That's just a spectacle in and of itself, right? But like I said, going back to Daniel Jones, like you're trying to make him a pocket passer, you're trying to make him into just one of those stationary passers, just kind of like Aaron Rodgers, Peyton when clearly he's not that, right? Clearly he's not Mahomes. Clearly he's not Allen. Clearly he's not Lamar. It's like, what are we doing? I heard from Giants fans, several Giants fans, talking about whether or not we should have signed Daniel Jones or whether or not we should have franchise tagged him and then signed Barkley to do what the exact same thing. I really don't. It's all pretty much a blur at this point. But what I can say is that I don't know if Daniel Jones is our guy. If you saw me last year, especially to my Twitter people, you would understand, how I'm pretty much feeling at this moment. Like I was just riding heavily on Daniel Jones before the season started last year. Like I was just making all these, posts, defending Daniel Jones of doing this, that, and the third. But with the season that we've had, I don't know. It's just I don't know if I lost all hope with Daniel Jones, but it's just that what can we do? Like there are clearly there's other glaring problems besides quarterback, but I don't know. If we don't address something about the quarterback situation going into this year, then I don't know. I don't know what to do. Like I don't know what we're doing. It's just like we're doomed to fail, right? If I'm the general manager, right, I will take a look at this quarterback room and I will say to myself, am I really confident in this quarterback room going into next year? Probably not, considering how I wouldn't say stacked, but at least talented guys at the quarterback position. You have Caleb Williams, you have Drake May, you have Jaden Daniels, you have Michael Penix Jr., you have Bo Nix, right? If I'm the Giants at number 6, I would make some serious inquiries about those quarterbacks, right? I would say preferably Michael Penix or I don't know Jaden Daniels. I've been pretty much have been heavy on Jaden Daniels for a while now, but if we don't do something to address the quarterback situation this year, then I don't know what we're gonna do this year. I really don't know. But maybe something can happen, and maybe you know this offense can be better. It just has to start with the trenches, right? But I don't know. As far as Daniel Jones goes, I think he's just hit his ceiling at this moment in time. I don't think he excuse me, I don't think he can go any higher than what his ceiling is. Maybe I'm jumping the gun. Maybe I'm too harsh on Daniel Jones, but that's just how I see it, right? And that's that on Daniel Jones. Now, moving on into Saquon Barkley, right? This guy, like, I understand where everybody is at with Saquon Barkley. Some of us want him back. Some of us say, you know what, let him go because we don't want to franchise tag him. I understand that running backs are expendable these days, but if Jesus, if we don't keep Saquon Barkley, I don't know what we're gonna do because pretty much our run game is predicated on Saquon Barkley. And yes, I understand that he was injured for a few games, but we just needed all the playmakers. We just need all the playmakers we can get, right? Because if we let Saquon go, I mean, shoot, maybe we can take a look at some free agent running backs. Although I don't think that's what the Giants are doing. I think what they're doing is I think they're just trying to build through the draft. I think that's what they're. I think that could be the most likely option if we do let Saquon go. Would be to draft a running back, right? It would be to draft a running back. But if we take a look at some of the names that I see here, I see Saquon Barkley, who I mentioned is a free agent. I see Josh Jacobs. I see Derrick Henry, who is pretty much 30 years. They're 30 years old. I think we're out of the running for Derrick Henry. I mean, do we really want? do we really want an older running back for? And I don't even know how much Derrick Henry is going to command a year. Like I don't know. I think it's somewhere north of 15 to 20 million a year. So I really don't know, right? And then of course you have Joe Mixon in there. You have Leonard Fournette, who I believe is about to be a free agent, right? And I don't know. Like, are we really about to go out there and pay for a running back when we can clearly just draft one at who's pretty much younger and at lower the cost, right? I think that's the way that the Giants will go after a running back. Like I said, if we do let go of Saquon, right? Yeah, I don't think we're breaking the bank for a running back anytime soon. And then there's Austin Eckler, who's also in free agency talks, right? Of course, there's DeAndre Swift, right, who pretty much had a stellar season running behind that Eagles offensive line, right? I mean, let's see. I'm still going. I'm still going through this. Of course, there's J.K. Dobbins from the Ravens, who is a free agent. But the thing is with Dobbins is that he's injury prone and he suffered a nasty injury to him. I believe it was his Achilles. Yeah, it was his Achilles, a torn Achilles. So it was sad for him. It was sad for me to watch him go down like that because he for the first couple of games, he was balling, and then unfortunately injuries happen, and this is not the first injury that derailed Dobbins in his career. So if we would be taking a huge gamble on Dobbins at this point in time. And then you have Devin Singletary, you have AJ Dillon of the Green Bay Packers, Zach Moss. I believe Alexander Madison is a free agent. Correct me if I'm wrong, but out of all the names that I listed, if Barkley does go, who will be signed to a 1 year, 2 year contract? Because I don't think there's any way that we can break the bank for a running back if we give him a 3, 4 year contract. I just don't think that that's logical. I don't think that's going to happen, right? Shoot. I think if we look in the draft, I think one of the guys that we can target in this running back class would be that Michigan running back. I think his name is Edwards. I can take a look at him because, especially seeing him in that championship game, he was balling. So let me take a look. Let me take a look at him real quick. Oh, there's two of them actually. It's Blake Corum, right, who was pretty much complimentary to Donovan Edwards, or well, just them feeding off of each other. Donovan Edwards and then Blake Corum. If we can get either one of those guys, then I would be great. That would be great, right? I'm not sure who else we should look into running backs for this draft, although I will take a look. I will do some research as draft time nears so that I have a clear understanding of what might happen if Saquon is not back with us next for this year, right? It happens. The NFL is a business, and I know that Saquon has been with us for quite a while now. But I just want him. I just want Barkley to succeed, right? When he's healthy, he can be a top five running back in the league. Like that's been proven, right? Give him an offensive line and give him a chance to be healthy, play him to have him play all 16, 17 games. He can be a top 10 run, excuse me, a top five running back. He's clearly shown it throughout his career. It just sucks that, with his injuries, his a high ankle sprain, a torn ACL back in 2020. It sucks, right? Excuse me, no, 2019. Excuse me, 2019. No, it was 2020 because he tore his ACL week 2 against the Bears. I remember that tough week. But yeah, in terms of Barkley, I hope he stays with us. But if push comes to shove, if we do have to let him go, and if we have to find younger talent in the draft, then that's what we might have to do, right? That's what we might have to do. Could we franchise tag Barkley again? Maybe, but I don't think that's what he wants, and I don't think that's what the organization wants to do. So we'll see how it all plays out in the end, right? And then the last thing I want to talk about before I leave is what are we going to do with the number 6 overall pick, right? There's a lot of different directions in which we could go with the number 6 overall pick, right? There's been some speculations that we might pick up a receiver. Uh, One name sticks out to mind. I believe it's the receiver from LSU. I think his name is what is his name? Oh my god, it keeps getting away. Keep getting away from me. Jesus Christ. Oh, it's Malik Neighbors, who has drawn a lot of attention, especially on the Giants mock draft boards, right? Oh shoot. Oh shoot, what's up, Rico? How you doing? I'm good. How about you? But yeah, I agree. I agree, Rico. Barkley's not gonna play on the tag again. It wouldn't make sense for us to tag him again if he's not gonna I, so I have no idea. I don't know how we're gonna like keep him under the tag. I really don't know. It happens. Hey Wendy, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. What's up, Alvin? I see you down there. But going back to the number 6 overall pick, right? I really don't know where we're gonna go, right? Like I said, Malik Neighbors has been trending as of late, as you all can see. But yeah, Malik Neighbors has definitely drawn interest in Giants draft mock boards, right? But I don't know, man. I with the current quarterback situation that we have right now, I really don't know. Yeah, Rico, I agree. Neighbors would be good, but it just depends on the quarterback, right? It depends on the quarterback. More importantly, it depends what we do in the trenches this upcoming what is it, free agency season. There's a lot of different intangibles that are taking place in order for us to happen. I mean, I'm not against look, I'm not against picking neighbors at 6, but I don't know. Like I just feel like yeah, I mean, yeah, we could use some help at the receiver room because Darren Waller's not going to get any younger, and he didn't play a lot of games due to injury. Wanda Robinson, I mean, he's been pretty reliable, and Darius Slayton, as much flack as I've given him, he's been pretty reliable himself, right? He's on his second year of his 2-year contract as we speak right now, but I don't I would love to have Malik Neighbors at 6, but I don't know. I'm leaning more so towards. I'm not gonna lie. I'm leaning more towards quarterback at number 6 overall, right? But I don't know what the Giants are gonna do with the number 6 pick. I don't know if they're gonna stay there. I don't know if they're gonna draft up, which I don't know what type of trade package we would give the opposing 5 teams if we do decide to trade up, right? So let's take a look at all the 5 teams that are going before us, right? So let's take a look at the NFL draft order of 2024, right? Give me a second. Okay. So the draft order, right? Okay. It's Carolina, it's Washington, New England, Arizona. It's Arizona, and then it's the Chargers, right? So I don't know what Chicago's doing at number one. They could decide to either draft Caleb Williams, which is pretty much projected at this point, or they could simply trade down with another team and just try to build around Justin Fields. My likely scenario would be for the Bears to just simply trade down and for them to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. to kind of help Justin Fields kind of take off a little bit. Having him pair up with DJ Moore would pay dividends for a guy like Justin Fields because he really needs it now more than ever. Let's see. Number 2, Washington. I think they're going to draft a quarterback as well because I don't think Sam Howell is their definitive answer. And from what I'm hearing that these Commanders fans just going crazy for Caleb Williams and how they want him to be that guy, right? So there's that. So Washington is a QB needy team. And then New England at number 3, yeah, they're definitely a quarterback needy team as well. I think the most logical quarterback for them to take would be Drake May. I would say they would take Jaden Daniels, but I'm not sure how he would fit in that system, especially because the Patriots just hired their new head coach in Jerome Mayo, right? So, and I'm wondering if they hired their offensive coordinator because Bill O'Brien's gone. I think he went to where did he go? Where did he go? Nebraska or somewhere? I don't know. I gotta check, but I don't know, right? So I think the logical reason for the Patriots to go with quarterback, I think it would have to be Drake May, to be honest with you. Number 4, Arizona. They're not a quarterback needy team because they pretty much have Kyler locked up for like the next 2 to 3 years or so. I don't think they go quarterback here. I think, damn, what does Arizona need help with the move? I would say their offensive line. Yeah, I think they might go O line at number 4 for Arizona because they Kylan definitely needs some help back there, right? Oh, that's right. Bill O'Brien did go to Ohio State. That's right. Thank you for reminding me, Rico. I was trying to figure out where he went. With all these different coordinators on the move, it's really hard to keep track of every single last one of them. So thank you for that, Rico. And then, oh, look at that, Rico. Your Chargers are up at number 5. Um, yeah, like I said, the Chargers are not a QB needy team. They already have Justin Fields, who's an above average quarterback. So it wouldn't make sense for them to pick a quarterback. I think the most likely situation for the Chargers would be to draft a skill position. I would say Brock Bowers, this this wicked good tight end from Georgia. I think he's gonna fall to the Chargers, to be honest, because given the amount of talent that's currently on the Chargers roster and what we know with Mike Evans and Mike no, not Mike Evans, excuse me, Keenan Allen and then Mike Williams. I think the Chargers just need all the talent that they need on offense, to be honest with you. Yep, Bowers. Yep, Bowers and Neighbors. Yeah, that's I'm hoping so. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys picked up Malik Neighbors either, or just simply Brock Bowers. To be honest with you, because y'all definitely need, uh, Jesus, y'all definitely need some pass catchers, especially some burners on the outside. So if you guys decide to go either way, then to be honest, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I think the most likely scenario for you guys was probably to be picking that tight end from Georgia, to be honest. And then there's the Giants falling at number 6. Where do we go? Do we go wide receiver? Do we go O line? Do we go quarterback? Right. I think one of the logical things is, well, if we are picking up an O line, I keep hearing this lineman's name. His name is Joe Alt. I'll definitely look into him, but according to some mock drafts and according to some analysts, that he might be one of the best O linemen to come out of this draft. So I'm definitely taking a look at him. We definitely need O line help as it currently stands, right? As it currently stands, but we'd also need some receiver help too. So what if we pick Malik Neighbors at 6? I don't know. Hey, what's up, JC? Thank you so much for tuning in, man. It's always a pleasure to see you in these spaces. I don't know. I don't know if we go with the Malik Neighbors. I don't know if we go with Joe Alt or if we go quarterback at number 6. Now, the quarterback that I want, or the quarterbacks that I want at 6, they can be either Jaden Daniels or Michael Penix Jr. Right? Because I don't think Drake May falls past. I don't think he falls past 3, to be honest. And Caleb Williams is a long stretch. Like, something has to happen, for Caleb Williams to fall to number 6, which is saying a lot, right? And there's no way. I don't think the Giants are going to trade up to get a quarterback. I don't know what the trade package would look like. I don't know how many assets we would have to give up or how many good players that we have to give up. I'm not giving up Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm not giving up. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that. I'm not, and I most certainly am not giving up Dexter Lawrence either. There's no way that that's happening. Absolutely not. Jesus Christ. Jesus. What am I gonna say? I was gonna say, I don't know. And shoot, I don't. Who knows, right? I did want us to pick up Cam Ward from Washington State in the later drafts, but he's going back to school, so we would have to wait until next year to get him. But I'm not sure if I'm comfortable waiting for next year for us to draft a quarterback. I don't know. Maybe I'm just jumping the gun here, but we'll see what this 2024 class of quarterbacks is going to be like, right? And if we do decide to, go after a quarterback, then to be honest, I don't know how I would feel. As long as we get Cam Ward next year, then I'll be fine. I'm definitely on the Cam Ward to New York trend if we don't pick a quarterback in this draft. But I mean, it's not the end of the world if we don't, but I would pretty much prefer us picking a quarterback at 6. But if we do pick up a guy like Malik Neighbors or Joe Alt, then I don't know. I wouldn't be too upset. But my preference would be for us to get a quarterback. That's just, it is what it is. Like, there's just no way that I can sit here, right? If I'm a general manager and just be comfortable with the quarterback room that I'm being presented with right now. There's no way. Something has to change. Something has to transpire, right? And I'm not, and like I said, I'm not too comfortable with any quarterback throwing behind that O line. Well, with the exception of Andrew Thomas and maybe John Michael Schmitz, but anywhere outside of those two, I have an issue with. I don't know what Evan Neal's going to be like. I don't know what our two inside guards are going to be like. I don't know. Trenches are important for a reason. We can't have Whoever is under center be sacked 11 times in the game. That can't happen again. Or be on pace to allow 86 plus sacks per within the season. That can't happen again. It can't. So we have to find a way. We have to find a way to protect our quarterbacks. Our quarterbacks have to perform. That's just it, right? And that's that. Um, with that being said, I mean, I don't think there's anything much for me to talk about again. I mean, I'm pretty much gonna make this a bi-weekly thing, right? I'm not gonna make it an every week thing unless something circumstantial happens in order for me to post weekly, right? But that's that, right? Like I said, the Super Bowl is this week. We have a rematch of 2019 with the Chiefs and the 49ers. How fun that will be, right? And then, the Pro Bowl just ended, although I don't know who's watching the Pro Bowl these days. Pro Bowl just ended. So football is really about to die down after this. And, like I said, I'll still keep you guys updated with some New York Giants stuff, like I said. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna make this a bi-weekly thing more than anything, unless if a signing happens then and there, and I just have to get it out within the next week or so. But like I said, I don't think there's anything else left for me to cover when it comes to the Giants as of right now. Like I said, we just hired Shane Bowen, and I'm really looking forward to see what he brings to this New York Giants defense, right? And then with all the Brian Dayball stuff, and just trying to figure out where we go in terms of cap space and draft position, that's just pretty much it. I mean, I'll probably do an episode in which I'll just probably like create a mock draft and see where we go with the number 6 overall pick, whether we trade back, trade up, or just keep it the way it is. I think I might do an episode on that. And then maybe I'll do something during draft night where, I can just like stay for like the whole entire first round and then, see what my live reaction would be. I'm thinking about doing that. But with that being said, I would like to say thank you guys very much for tuning in tonight. This was an episode that was long due, right? Especially with given how the season played out for us, right? And I just kind of needed I needed this, right? I just needed to talk to you guys about, the state of my team and what's going on, especially within the fan base, like myself. So, this was kind of a long deserved episode for, I would say, for the most part, right? And if you guys follow me on my YouTube channel called D Talking Sports, I'll definitely like create, a short little mini video as to what we need to do as an organization moving forward, especially in this year. But, with that being said, um, that's it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. From the great minds of the sports affiliation, this has been the Big Blue Rain of Fire with yours truly, and I will catch you guys on the next one. So take care, everybody.